Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Test, 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 test. Test, test. Hey, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Uvla Lota. Good morning. How you guys feeling? I hope you're excited. Day 3 for Kivgiq. On the agenda, we have this morning the Ipalook Elementary Dance Group and also Mitaaq storytelling. Call and text all your friends, anybody tuning in. Come on in by 11 a.m. We'll do some storytelling again before lunch. Today, the lunch break, 12:30 to 1:30, hosted by the Northville Borough Admin and Finance Department. It'll be down in the cafeteria room. Doorways, please keep doorways and the walkways, the walking paths clear. There's garbage cans in every corner. Help us out because it's a long day. 13, 14, 15 hours helps a lot when the garbage is picked up. When you pick your garbage up, please don't park in the front driveway because we keep that area clear for the ambulance and the elders that get dropped off at the front. So we've got traffic control out front. Thank you guys for helping us with that. There's also lost and found area. We've put stuff back here, the small stuff that fits, a bunch of earrings, a key it looks like, headphone case. There's some stuff in the library also. Keep track of your stuff. There's a ton of people that come in and out, especially drums. Careful with your drums. Thank you guys for coming today. We have to thank our sponsors. A huge thank you to the sponsors this year. It's not possible without all the sponsors you guys see up on the wall over there, plus a few others and definitely the staff. But our sponsors are platinum contributors, ASRC, ASNA, ConocoPhillips, City of Uqaluk, City of Killigvuk, and UIC. The gold sponsors, Hill Court, Alaska Commercial Company, City of Ungarook Pass, Northville Borough School District, City of Killigvuk. The silver sponsors, Santos, Jolly Roger, Inupiaq College, TNHA, and the bronze sponsors, Ice Services, ICAS, and Arctic Chiropractic. So thank you very much to our sponsors. And our MCs for the group this morning are the Mayor's Youth Advisory Council. My name is Daniel Thomas. I'm advisor to the Northville Borough Mayor's Office, and I helped coordinate the Mayor's Youth Advisory Council, a group of students from all across the slope. And to introduce themselves this morning, our president of our Borough MYAC group, Ilion Valenzuela.
Good morning, good morning. My name is Ilion Valenzuela. I'm a junior at Barrow High School and the MYAC president. My mom and dad are Miriam and Eliseo Valenzuela. My aka and apa are Tina and Jose Sanchez. And I come from the MYAC family. We're here today to introduce the Ipalook dance group. Welcome to the Ipalook Elementary Dance Group. As they're setting up, I'd also like to say a few words. I'd like to acknowledge my great-great-grandpa, Reverend Dr. Roy Amawak Sr., for helping create the Inupiaq alphabet and translating the New Testament in the Bible. I encourage you to read Good Broth to Warm Our Bones by Hugh Stevens, a story that goes more into depth about Don Webster and Roy Amawak Sr.'s mission with the Presbyterian Church. I would also like to say, I'm proud to be here with our community celebrating Kivgiq after many, many years of COVID. I'm glad we're celebrating and coming back together to celebrate our language and culture. It's so good to see many faces from all over the Inuit region coming to the North Slope to celebrate with us. I hope you guys have a wonderful time and stay well in Killigvuk. One of our fellow MYAC would like to introduce themselves.
Palavisi in which Naktinen Unga Ataka Isaiah Alasura a Kutchuk Koya Okavium Miurunga Mingaktu Kunga Bear High School me Ungaktu Kaka Lucinda Masu Akachuk Elliot and Hayden Elliot.
Good morning, everyone. Uvunga Dana Inupiaq Sinaga Apayauk, Utkaraving Murunga, Apaka Dino Akara Mary Jo, Apaka Nathaniel Ulimaunt Sr. and Eugene Brower, Akaka Vera Ulimaunt and Charlotte Brower. Thank you, everyone.
One more round of applause for the Ipalook Elementary Dance Group.
Testing. Wala load up. Kuyina si NSB Mayor's Office. Tamaunga. Ayura raf sigut mingok tuktuat. Uko Ipalook Elementary min. Kairugut uvlupat. Kuyina kalugit. Aulari druat. Ilatip karap tigut. Kivgiq tuanun. Meklik tut pukiksut. Sayul larut. Savaktuk. Ilisarrit. Uvlupak ilumun ilisaramata ilichisurut ilisaramata ilichirut aridrit angayukatka uvangalu savaratigika savaktok atutinarivut mikhliktut sayornertugut sayutinik ariga koyinakpak. Happy Kivgiq 2023. Welcome all those that came to Barrow. Hope you guys enjoy our performance.
Hey, how's it going? Just to give them a short little intermission, we have a couple of more MYAC students that will give their introductions about themselves.
Good morning. Uvanga Georgia, Inupiaq Singara Paningaluk, Utkalviru Marurunga, Akara Mabel Kalak, Apara Ronald Fisher. I'm thankful to be here at Kivgiq and to be a part of this amazing group. I've learned so much in getting out of my comfort zone. I can't wait to learn more new things. Thank you for a little bit of your time. Kuinakpa. And now introducing my fellow MYAC member, Layla Sandai.
Good morning. Uvanga Paisak Sanai, Tanik Siniga Layla, Utkarvi Miuruna, Ngi Kaka, Amanda Mernel, Nick Sanai. Te Manga Kanga, Inupiaq Nikbut, Siban Muktur Naktu, King of Optigu, Ilit Guptigu, Inupiaq Uqaluk, Kang Sianek to it, Kanatun, King of Nibut, Song Opti Lami. Nugafter of Optic Dawn, Itor, Ilitiv Sal Huktor, Pillu Singin it. Ingunita, Vagat Nitaraura, Ilitia Rugut, Kopel Nikbut, Tamat Sinyato, Pisigit Lugu, Akuba, Elisavnak Sigatiu, Kayotek Aguk Tugut, I'm a Viptini, Utakanani, Elisarini Lu, Sibamutala, Talvat Gupta, Nipel Nikun, Uvlagut Lu, Nitaraura, Piumatik, Pakdusra Rugut, Elitis Suguta, Kubanakta, Uvatmana, Kivgiq. Finangamam man, Inupiaq Ningman, Inupiaq Naksir, Klina.
Hey, how's it going? Just one more brief intermission. We have a member of our MYAC group here from BHS.
Oblaloto, Obunga Jaden Lampi, Inuguna Runga, Mani Ukayumi, Inupiaq Singa, Akanyigalu, Sobelu, Anayukaka, Jocelyn the Shuknik Pilu, Wiggins Lampi Lu, Akaga Doran Lampi Lu, Josie Adams Lu, Asi, Apika Wiggins Lampi Senior Lu, Glenroy Ibakuna Lu. Sophomore Runga, Barrow High School Me, Suli Illa Runga, Mayor's Youth Advisory Councilman. Good morning. My name is Jaden Lampi. I was born and raised in Kivgiq. My Inupiaq names are Kivgiq and Ipalook. My parents are Jocelyn Nashendik Pili and Wiggins Lampi Jr. My uncles are Doran Lampi and Josie Adams. My oppas are Wiggins Lampi and Glenroy Ibakuna. I'm a sophomore at Barrow High School and I am with Mayor's Youth Advisory Council. This year's Kivgiq theme is It's Time to Speak Inupiaq, and I wanted to talk about how we could help preserve our language. We need to create a supportive environment that encourages people to use a language that could provide opportunities to learn the language and make it more accessible in schools and workplaces, making it easier to use our language in an everyday lifestyle. For an example, schools and Inupiaq classes are very important because it helps us learn our language and our culture, so we can know the value of how important our traditions are. I encourage you all to start speaking and teaching the Inupiaq language so we can all get the hang of speaking and hearing it. The first step in learning to speak our own language is to recognize the importance of our language in our lives. I don't think language is just a way of communicating, but it's a way of expressing ourselves and connecting with others. It's a way of expressing our culture, values, and our beliefs. It's another way of our identity, belonging, expressing and our thoughts and feelings, creativity, and imagination. I think it's time for us to use our language to its fullest potential and to express our thoughts, feelings, and ideas, to also shape our identities and our sense of belonging. It's time to speak up our language to shape our thoughts and our beliefs. Our culture has. It's time to speak our language. Koya Nakpag.
Along those same sentiments, she shared that Inupiaq classes in school are really important. I think it's pretty amazing that some alumni from our schools across the slope become Inupiaq teachers, and I encourage anyone that wants to teach to become an Inupiaq teacher. Can our Inupiaq teachers, I see a few current, former, past Inupiaq teachers, can you please take a second to stand? Let's give them a round of applause to our Inupiaq teachers. Thank you guys very much.
All right. Before we get into our tutipeks, we'd like to give a special thanks to the Ipalook choir for allowing us to use these atiklooks. We wouldn't have been all matching if it weren't for them, so thanks to them. I also want to give a special shout out to Elisari Michelle Khalek. She started all of this, and I hopped in and helped, but without her, it wouldn't have been possible, so thank you. These dances that we did for you today, all of them tell a story about one person's experience living in the Arctic. And these are only half of them, so we do a lot more during our Eskimo dance group practice after school. We just showcased maybe about half or a little bit less than half of them. And right now, we'd like to invite all of the parents. If you have a kid or you have family down here dancing with us, come and dance with them. Kita. Also at this time, we'd also like to invite all of our school district staff, anyone in the building that is from the school district, board members, superintendent, administration, anyone from the school district coming down and dance. Ariga, anyone and everyone, welcome, welcome. Come and dance with us. Last song.
Can we have all the Inupiaq dance group kids come over here to the stage? We're going to take a picture with our superintendent.
Good morning, everyone. Really quick, lost a baleen heart-shaped earring. If you see one, Kuruuk, Santiago. If you see a baleen heart-shaped earring, Kuruuk, Santiago's looking sentimental value. Had it for a while. Just as a reminder, the next hour and 10 minutes of our program is Mitaaq, storytelling. We are Gonna hang out in here, share some stories, enjoy each other's company before lunch break. Lunch break, 12:30 to 1:30. For the next hour, 15 minutes, 1 hour, 15, we'll be here in the gym telling stories. I thought of a few to share to get us warmed up. Back in 2015, it was my second year as a coach here at Barrow High School. I was helping out with the boys and the girls team, and it was a girls game down at the Wasilla High School tournament. And the other coach, he made Christmas plans to go to Hawaii. So I was the assistant coach, Chad Bunselmeyer was the head coach. So as an assistant coach, you don't have to worry about as much as the head coach. The head coach has gotta do it all, but the assistant coach, they can just add their little 2 cents here and there where it fits. So as an assistant coach, I wasn't worried too much. And then leading up to the tournament, Coach Bunselmeyer tells me he is taking a vacation. I'm gonna have to coach the team myself at the Wasilla tournament. I'll have to act as head coach. So just my second year helping out. 2015, I was 23 years old. Little bit of nerves getting to me. And it was one of the timeouts in the game, and on a bench, as a basketball team, the coach will take the last chair on the bench most of the time. Sometimes I'll sit in the middle, but I take the last chair. And during the girls' game, I'm coaching, second year, helping out, having to step up as head coach, and we break a timeout. Whalers on 3, 1, 2, 3, Whalers. And I don't look backwards. I just assume there's a chair at the end of the bench. I see out of my peripheral all these chairs get taken, and I'm just backing up, and in the middle of the game, a couple of hundred people watching, I try to find a chair and there's nothing, and I fall on the floor and cut it backwards, and of course everybody's laughing at me, and I'm nervous, and I just have to laugh along. Kind of an embarrassing one, but type of vibe we're going for today, just telling funny stories. There's another one. I bought my first four-wheeler maybe 6 or 7 years ago, not too long. I bought it for myself after working for a while, saving up some money. And it's my first trip out on my own four-wheeler. Didn't grow up going out, went out a couple of times with my appa, some uncles, but my first solo trip, again, maybe mid-20s, 23, 25 years old. My first time out on a four-wheeler by myself. Got a gun for my birthday the year before, bought a four-wheeler this year. I can start to go hunting. So I take a trip. I'm talking to guys and I'm learning a few things about how to pack and, you know, do the right things to be safe out there. So I have my four-wheeler and I'm staying on the pipeline. Outside of town here, there's that natural gas pipeline that goes, I think it's 17 miles out, kind of follows the coast. So when I go out, I use that as my marker. So if anything happens, I can just walk along the pipeline to get back to town. So my first trip out, I did that. I take Freshwater Lake, and anyone ever go by Freshwater Lake and get dive bombed by those birds out there? Or is that just me, where you're driving by and you've got to wave your sweater around to avoid getting hit? A couple of birds out there by Freshwater. So I take the pipeline and I'm following it. I'm using the path. I've got a Polaris 570, so a little bit heavier machine than a Honda. And I'm following the path that's worn, that everybody uses. There's dips here and there. I get to one of the last bends in the pipeline. I think it's about 10 miles out, 11 miles out. And there's a bend in the pipeline. There's a little uqaluk that goes through there, but it was dried up and mushy. And I'm thinking, okay, everybody has taken this path right here. It's probably all worn out. I bet you there's too much mush under there. I'm probably going to get stuck. So me being super smart on my first trip out ever by myself, I'm an expert, of course. I say, let me just go right next to the track. This will probably be a good spot because that one's all worn out. But nope, that one was probably a better path to take. I get stuck right next to where the path is. I get stuck my first time out in my four-wheeler, and it's a heavy machine, and I can't rock it out. I can't lift it out myself. I'm out there by myself about 10 miles out. So I follow the pipeline. I'm walking back home along the pipeline. I tried to measure it on the map afterwards. Somewhere 4 or 5 miles out, I had to walk 4 or 5 miles to get back to cell service. And I get back to cell service, and I call my wife, and I say, hey, I'm out here, and the four-wheelers got stuck. I have to walk home, or someone has to come and get me. And my wife is really, really concerned about the four-wheeler, the new four-wheeler. She said, where's the four-wheeler? I said, I'm fine, thank you for asking, but so it was, got the four-wheeler stuck. I had to walk back to get to cell service, and worried about the new four-wheeler that I just got stuck because, you know, spending a little bit of change on a four-wheeler, it's, you want to take care of those things. So got it stuck. She was able to tell one of our buddies to come and pull me out. It was easy. I mean, it took us less than 20 seconds to pull us out. I got out, and then lucky enough, I was able to harvest tutu on the way home. So my first trip out, it wasn't solo, but was able to get a tutu and bring it home. After getting stuck, after learning my lesson, if there's a path out there, looks like it's been ridden 1,000 times, that's probably the best path to take. And you're probably going to get stuck if you don't know what you're doing and you try to make your own path. So listen to the advice and the wisdom of all those who have literally gone before you. Yeah, we're just going to be sharing stories for a while, hanging out. I think we have Mr. Mike Aamodt willing to share for a while, but anybody else, if you just want to come and hang out in this area, we'll find you.
Koyanak. Uvla Lotok, everyone. Welcome to Kivgiq 2023. Yesterday I was fortunate to be able to tell a few stories, and last night, oh, by the way, I'm Mike Aamodt, was introduced. I live in Barrow, but I used to live in Point Hope. Last night my son called me and asked me why I didn't tell a story about him when we were out hunting one time. We were out at our cabin over by Smith Bay. Had a whole herd of caribou, toot-toot, came wandering by close, and decided we better take a few of them. I told my son to sit over here, get lined up over here. Told my wife to sit up on the roof with her rifle. And I was going to sit on the porch, make sure my daughter stayed inside the cabin. And I told everybody I'll count to 3 and we'll each pick one of them. We'll see how many we can get, but I don't want more than one each. So we all got ready. We didn't even have to leave the cabin area. It was just coming right close by. I counted to 3 and we all fired. I heard 3 shots go off, and only 2 caribou fell. I got really kind of angry at my son. How come you missed? There were so many you shouldn't have missed. He kept telling me, well, I hit it. You know, there's only 2 down there. Now you go help your mom. Take care of her, Tutu. I'll take care of mine. While I was skinning it, up around the neck area, pulled the skin away, and there were 2 bullet holes. And this is out of a herd of about 100 animals. Went over to my son, what the heck did you shoot mine for? I said, Dad, you told me to take a big one, and I did. You did too. It was the only really big one. And I got kind of angry about that, shooting my animal. And he also reminded me of another story. I had taught him how to hunt seals on top of the ice. I learned that down in Point Hope when I lived there before the sea mammal bill came in. And I had to deal with federal boys one time who said I'm not allowed to teach hunting because I'm not supposed to know it. But I take kids out and I teach them how to hunt. My son went out one day, he was rather young. He has his took so he can check the ice as he's going out. He had 2 pieces of rope. They're only about 5 feet long. You got 2 nutchick. He was dragging them back to the camp. 1 in each hand, he had his rifle strapped on his back. Come to a crack in the ice. Decided he'd run and jump. It didn't work very well. Rope was too short. 1 rope on each animal. Made his leap across the crack in the ice, and the seal stopped slipping midway through, right in the water. I asked him why he didn't tie the ropes together through both jaws. Didn't think about that. Ended up chest deep in water. Came home, but he had two nutchick with him. Anyway, anybody else have some stories? Got to take up some time, and we've got an hour and a half before lunch, so we need to have some of these stories that people have experienced out in the wilderness. Looks like I've got Mr. Frantz here.
Thank you, Mike. I got one story that I want to tell that when we were doing the messenger race this time, I don't remember which group it was, but I was talking to them before we had the messenger race, and they looked at me and they said, "We can't win the race." And I go, "How come you can't win the race?" And they go, "Because we don't know how to light a seal oil lamp." And I go, we got people that's going to help you light a seal oil lamp." And then they looked at me real confident and they go, "Okay, we're going to win the race." Okay, we have a short clip here. We were doing some interviews in the hallway yesterday, and we're going to show a short clip here of some of those interviews while everybody's thinking of their story. Jesse, we ready? Two minutes. Does anybody else have a story they'd like to tell? Or Mitaaq time? Mike's got another story here.
There's no way for me to do a short one. Quite a number of years ago, one of my nephews wanted to get his first nutchick. He'd been out with some of his cousins, and they came back frequently empty-handed. He came over, "Ungarook, you got to help me. I need to get my first nutchick, my first animal." I said, "Okay, I'll take you out, but I'm not shooting for you because it's against the law for me." We wandered around in the ocean, not too long, came across a little nutchick up on the ice. And I rushed into the edge of the ice and I told Richard, "Jump out of the boat and grab it." "What?" "Just run over there. He can't get away from you. We've got it blocked. He's got about a quarter mile of ice in front of him. So just go out and grab it by the tail and bring it over here." "What?" "Yeah, go do it. You've got good boots on. He's not going to hurt you." Finally, he jumped out of the boat and ran over, kept going away from him. I hollered at him, "Grab it." Eventually grabbed it, holding it by its back flippers. And it's flopping around. He comes back to the boat. "What do I do, Uncle Mike? What do I do? Ungarook, help me." I just lay it on the boat and pop it on the head. He did that. ended up with a nut chick with no bullet holes in it. And I told him, now don't tell anybody that I had you do that. That's not a normal thing to do, just grabbing a seal and bringing it over and cracking its skull. A couple days later, after Sunday church services, Henry Kaniyork came up to me. Mike, did you really have Richard do that with that nut chick? Did he tell you? I told him not to. Oh yeah, he told the whole church. Oh man. Anyway, just one of my many, many, many stories. So are we ready for the, okay, we're ready for a clip that's going to show up on, what's that called, live screen or, okay, it's up on the screen here and I guess you can see it around the world if you're listening and watching.
Hello, happy Kivgiq 2023. This is Jack Frantz. Welcome to Kivgiq 2023, and we have here
Ria Iliak Frankson.
Hello, Riai. Are you familiar with the word sayuk?
Sayuk means motion dance.
Do you know how to spell sayuk?
And is spelled S-A-Y-U-Q, Sayuk, with a K.
Okay, well, looks like you got it right.
And you Sayuk like this.
Happy Kivgiq 2023. Jack Frantz here at Kivgiq 2023. And we have here
Michelle Uyumbuak Kalak, Miss Weo.
Hi, Michelle. Are you familiar with the word kilaun?
Yes, I am.
Do you know what kilaun means?
Kilaun means a drum that we use for Eskimo dancing.
All right. Do you know how to spell kilaun?
Q-I-L with a dot. A-U-N.
Looks like you got it right. All right, Michelle. Thank you.
Thank you. Happy Kivgiq 2023.
All right. Thank you. All right, I got one more story to tell. This happened just a couple of weeks ago. I was traveling, and I was going to my hotel, and I must have been so tired I left my backpack. I left my backpack in the van taking me to the hotel, and I woke up at early in the morning, and I was thirsty, and I had all my drinks in my backpack, and I didn't have it in the room. I left it, so I left it in the car, and I went downstairs from the hotel, and I asked them, "Do you guys have a black backpack?" And they go, "Oh, what's your name, sir?" And I said, "Harry K. Brower Jr." Because it says Harry K. Brower Jr. on my backpack. And they gave me my backpack and said, "Here you go, Mr. Brower." All right. Does anybody else have a story they'd like to tell?
Nobody else? my wife knows that I really like telling stories. Keeps me occupied when I meet people I don't know. I can keep them occupied for hours and hours. I think they get bored with it, but early in my time in Point Hope, back in the 1960s, I was being trained by one of the guys a little older than me. I didn't start my hunting training until I was in my 20s. The guy was in his 30s, so he was a little bit older, my elder. We used to go out hunting, winter, spring, anytime. He was showing me everything. But I didn't have a snow machine or a sled, so I used to have to ride on his sled. It didn't have an upright on the back to stand. He just had a tutu skin on a flat sled, and I had to hold on for dear life when we were out cruising the countryside down in Kivgiq. One time, we're way the heck out of town, and Joe spotted a fox, and he took off chasing it. In those days in Point Hope, you use a rope on the sled rather than, we had a tow bar on the sled normally, but Joe was running a rope on his sled. Went after that fox with me trying to hold on to that sled. Miles and miles, just throwing me all over the place. Finally, I was thrown off. Joe just kept on going, didn't have a mirror on this old-time snow machine. Just kept going, and I was standing on the trail his trail. He was out of sight. Town was out of sight. Started walking home, decided he's not going to come back, so I just better go home. Hours. Finally, he showed up and he said, "How come you jumped off?" You know I don't look around when I'm driving. Anyway, he didn't get the fox, but he did get me and brought me home. I had a heck of a long walk that day. Anyway, anybody else with a story? You have any more? What about you, Jerica? You have any stories? I'm going to bring my niece up here. One time she was at our camp. This is my niece, Jerica Aamodt, Levitt. She was at our camp, and I don't remember who it was that got a tutu, but she'd never been around butchering, I guess. Ooh, ooh. Tried to hand her the heart. Ooh. But I believe it was you that told me that you were bored out at camp one time. And I don't appreciate anybody saying they're bored at camp, because camp is not boring. There's so much fun, so much to do. She came and said, "I'm bored. Nothing to do." I said, "Okay, let's go out to the meat rack out here." I had lots of tutu hanging. We really get lots of food out there. I said, "Take a look at this meat. You see all those little hairs on there? You know, when you're butchering caribou in the summertime, there's lots of loose hair. Take all that hair off of every one of those pieces." She was there for hours. She never told me she was bored again. Anyway, you have anything funny to tell? I hope it's not about me.
Well, maybe I will. The word bored is now a bad word in my household. I'm so thankful my Uncle Mike, all the knowledge he learned from elders he taught me growing up, and my Auntie Patsy. I'm so very thankful for all the traditional knowledge they had taught me growing up. I had grown up going camping with them and being out on the land and hunting and just having a grand time out there. And there was one time my brother had caught a tutu, and they had a little rowboat, and there was like a river that we had to cross. Me and another young girl, my uncle told us to go across that little river, not really a river, but a little water, to go get my brother with the tutu and then come back. And we got in the rowboat, and we had an oar each, and we were rowing, and we were going nowhere, just in circles. And he's like, "Go, you just gotta go straight." And we rowed harder and faster and still in circles. But another story I wanted to share is, I think I was 11 at the time, and I was the oldest kid that was out there, and my uncle and auntie would always bring kids out to Aamodt camp. And at that time, that one summer, I was the oldest, and we would get fresh water from the sea ice. On top of the sea ice, there's fresh water called Killigvuk, and we would go and gather it for our drinking water for our stay at Uqaluk. And we had run out of fresh water, and my uncle and auntie said, "Okay, it's time to go get some Killigvuk." We got on the boat, and we went out to go and find some sea ice. And we found a really nice iceberg, and because I was the oldest, it was my turn. It was my turn to follow and help my uncle get the water. And my auntie and the other younger kids, they stayed on the boat. They anchored the boat to the ice. We got onto the ice, and we have these big jugs and a little pitcher, and we just gathered the Killigvuk. And my uncle said, "This is the most fresh water you will ever taste." And so we would use our hands and just try it. And it was the most pure water I would ever tried in my life. And so we're on the ice, and I'm filling up the jugs. And my uncle goes, it's a really big iceberg, and he goes and just looks for another pool of water. And as I'm filling it, I finished it, I stand up and I start to follow my uncle, kind of just right behind him. And then all of a sudden I hear a really big boom. And I look up and I don't even know what it was, and all I see is water high in the air. In my head, I was like, is that a whale? Did a whale just like hit the berg or something? But after a while, after the water had gone down, it was a huge wave. It was a piece of the berg that had fallen off, and then it caused the iceberg that we were on to break apart. And it was trying to adjust after it had broken off. My uncle, he ran to me and said, "We need to get back to the boat." And we were on a berg, like drifting away. And in my head, I was like, do I jump? Do I jump? And I even asked my uncles, like, do I jump? And I can't believe I asked that, because, you have to jump to get back to the boat. And so he jumps first, and I have my big old rubber boots on. And in my head, as I took that first jump, I thought, am I going to die? Am I going to sink to the bottom? Is the two icebergs gonna close in on me? All these thoughts are just running through my head in that one little second that I jumped. And then we got to the other side, then we had to jump again to the other berg, and again. And I looked at the boat, and I could hear my auntie praying. And that's all that I heard, was her praying. We get back to the boat, we're all safe, we left the jugs, the water jugs. My uncle waited for the iceberg to settle. I see no fear in his eyes. After the iceberg settled, he goes back on there. He gets the jugs, puts them in the boat. Then we go back to another berg, and I'm like, Uncle, in my head, like, what if we sink? Like, and he had this foldable chair. I think it was a foldable chair, but we get to another berg. He anchors the boat to it, and he gets this foldable chair, and he sits on it. And I'm like, Uncle, like, we just had this, like, traumatic experience, and you're sitting on the ice, like, bathing in the sun, like nothing happened. And I learned that day to not fear. Like, when something happens, you don't fear, and you don't let it stop you from continuing to do what you got to do to survive. And I think about that to this day, how him and my auntie just, were on the ice and no fear, when you don't, like, every crack I heard, I was like, I think it's cracking, I think it's breaking, let's get back to the boat. But no, we're okay. And I'm really thankful for those experiences. I learned so much of what I know today from hunting and being out on the land, camping, plants, traditional plants. I remember they had this traditional plant book at the camp, and they would tell me to go identify the plants out on the land and go pick the ones that I find that are in the plant book and put them in the plant book and press them. And that's a lot of where my knowledge was seated and rooted, was from my auntie and my uncle. So, Koinakpak umatimnin. Koinakpak.
That was a very scary time, though, even though she didn't think it is now. But that particular trip caused me to have a knee replacement, because at that jump, I had just had my hip replaced not too long before that trip. And when we had to make those jumps across those ice cracks, I remembered that Dr. Ryan, the only Alaska Native orthopedic surgeon in Alaska, in the world, told me, don't put any trauma to my hip while it's healing. So I folded my leg, the hip was replaced, and landed on the other side of one of those jumps and destroyed my knee and had it replaced a couple months later. But anyway, we've had lots of good trips with kids up here. We've been doing it for, maybe 30 years. Let's see. Wow, 30 or 40 years we've been doing Aamodt Camp for training kids. Anyway, I think Elsie must have another story. Elsie Itta was here yesterday helping us have a few jokes. I hope it's not about rippies again.
No, it's not. Actually, isautini ay kolektor uminga. You all una ilisari visio Sunauna carnation milk. You all know that, right? Oh, if you don't know it, you better find out about it. Carnation milk. A lot of babies grew up with this, 50s, 60s, and it was a requirement that our Nave store had. I'm talking in English. Inupiaq, uqaluk tunga. Agalan, back in the 60s, one of my aunts at our house, her little baby ran out of milk. So she had to go to the store, okay? And if you know how milk is spilled, spelled, S-P-E-L-L-E-D, spelled. It's M-I-L-K, right? I didn't hear you, right? Okay, all right. So when I was teaching, one of the ways students learn how to pronounce words was sounding it out, right? So for M, we went, let me hear you say that. Okay? And for I, short I, not long I, we said, okay? And for L, we went, okay? And for K, we went, okay? You got it? And let's sound it out. Wait. Okay? Let's say it, pronounce it again. Okay? One more time. I want to hear it before I laugh. Okay. So, anyway, my aunt can't read. My aunt can't read. And her little baby needs milk, right? So, she goes to the store. I was babysitting her baby at home. And so she goes to Native store and looks at all the rows of, well, 2 rows maybe, of food, okay? And so she start here and start reading, and there's some cans. And she recognized this. So she knows when she recognized this, she can't be wrong, right? Because she recognized it. So she went up there, saw that, and grabbed it, and she sounded out. And this is how she sounded out. Look. Again. Look. You guys don't get it? Look. In Inupiaq, we are sounding out look. And that's where milk comes from. When you don't use the can, you get it from you. You're from your milks, okay? Your breast. That's my joke. A lot of you are very young here, so please forgive me for saying this. The same lady, it's like 20 years later, same lady, she's funny, I love her. I thought I'd take my mom, my aunt, and her for a ride in my new Jeep. I bought that Jeep because it could take me to Killigvuk, right? Got big tires, I won't get stuck. So we all got in the little Jeep, and I'm driving. My mom's back, what do you call that? She's driving, but she's sitting there, okay? In fact, she puts her right foot like this when she's trying to tell me to put my brakes on. She does that in a big city, and I would tell her, don't do that. she automatically does that. And I tell her, "Tinas rangirin." Anyway, she's sitting there, and my aunt and my other aunt, who's the funny one, they're sitting there, and I'm driving toward Nuvuk. And that one spring, big icebergs had been left on the Nuna. Okay? And so I'm driving, and I have a little hesitation to go to Nuvuk because I don't want to get stuck with my mom, my aunt, and my older aunt. I don't want them walk. Anyway, I'm driving, trying to enjoy it, pretend I'm enjoying it. And I said, "Oh." And they all got quiet. "Nanumimma, nuilagro tiniaratigud, sikuni tunuanin, sunek pisa, chiparak put Mickey Meal, sumun kimagnek pisa." And I got all the ladies worried. I said, "You," in my head, I soak myself. "Don't say that. After you offered to give them a ride, you can't scare your passengers, especially uqaluk." If you've heard this story, you can already laugh. Thank you. Anyway, after I said, "Nanu mimma puivinakaluni, kanya tuk." Igalaru lock Pichayalui. So my mom locked her door. And I'm driving. And then they were all quiet. And I'm still driving. And suddenly my funny aunt, she said, "Iksinyangichut. Iksinyayichuk. Anilakalunga, manga. Hamon min, matalunga, atiga, bilualutka, iksisa, neria, nanok." She said she was going to scare the polar bear away with her. With her. Yeah, with her. And this leads to my little short story. So Edward and I got a crew, and we're cutting up all the parts to feast with. So I know all the parts, I think, names. There's Mitaaq, Niqitqiaq, Akpik. There's Uman, Taktu, Ungarook. And there was one more I didn't want to say, because I was whatever. And that's this part. So after a while, my husband came out, and he wanted to know how far are we so they can start the burners and get some water, hot water going. And I asked the ladies in the garage, "Kanito lakpisi? Madra napayaribut. Aglan kenito akiga pingay kiputsuli." So I went to see what was outside. They were pointing to, they didn't say it to me either. They were pointing to my sister-in-law. "Oh, okay." So I went to Edward. Una kadaksakanyarik put. He said, "Suna, una." "You mean the uchik?" "Yeah." I couldn't say it. I didn't know it was a common word when you say uchik una. Kivgiq taksi ing tamna. Took me a while. Kinaw na suisuro ngailan ni wamnik. I laugh at myself at home. Iglaro nga. A little story too, and I'll end with this maybe. You know how we all like to go to Anchorage and go to the malls and shop and shop and shop. Anyway, my son was 3. My daughter was 6 or 7. They were all getting excited. They wanted to see the stores, especially Little Price. And so we were all talking, and Edward said, "We're going to the Sears Mall, right?" "Yeah, we're going to Sears Mall. Sears Mall has Sears Roebuck, right?" Because that's what we grew up with, Sears Roebuck. And we were going to go to a real catalog that comes alive. Maybe we were all going to see all those people we see in the catalog all dressed up and showing themselves around. And so my son, if you're listening, Price, I'm sorry. My son heard me say, instead of Sears Roebuck, he thought I said Sarah's Robot. Okay, he thought I said Sarah's Robot. So we're holding hands because I don't want him to get lost. And you can me over Malak. We were so excited. And Price is just, we're going in Sears Roebuck. And we started looking around. And then Price took my hand. "Mom, where's Sarah's Robot?" "Sunauna, what? You said there's Sarah's Robot. And my daughter and I smiled because Katuk had heard me say Sarah's Roebuck, but little boy had heard me say Sarah's Robot. So I had to get busy and look for the toy section and try to find a robot. Anyway, thank you. Kuyanak.
Is it morning? I'm 75 years old. I'm just kidding. I just wanted to tell, in loving memory of our sister Priscilla, and me, of course, I'll be the first one to tell about me. I just started learning to cut patterns for a jacket, and I was so proud of myself. I could sew and all that. And when I was done, the jacket was this way. I had sewn it, differently like. And I had to redo the whole jacket because when I sewed it, there's a special way you sew it. You don't, and it ended up this way. So one time, Priscilla was gonna cut up her pattern, right? And Uncle George is sitting there watching her, and I'm standing there and watching her. That it's gonna be her first time to, do that too. And so watching her, and she's cutting up her pattern, and she keep cutting it. I don't know why. And it was for her, I think, her adult size. And then when it's finally done, it's like a little boy's jacket. Iliktik sa kakap na tema ni Priscilla. Jacket na liyok sakto ilimin yun. So, una, iliktik luwa, kiniktuak, tigudu, ada kagun kaya na natsiniak pa. Adiga, it's funnier in Inupiaq. Iliktik sa sarabda, elitsi sakarabda. Electric, connector, Buduwa Uncle George connector. Eliminun, Jack the Leoxactor, Fisler. So on a taduk did coming out to go make a little.
Koyanak, both you young ladies. Does anyone else have a story before we have to break for lunch? Uh-oh, looks like a ladies first.
Ai. Ungarook pisawa nalagtorama radio me. It's Killigvuk. Apai ki Germany. Ungarook. Arnat tikiarmi. Ungarook. Uvlacharmi asin esurugud unomi. Mamaga ki. Mamaga. Anatka. Ilorten pisurut. Ilising av lutig. Anami. Traditional. Tikiak. Tikiak mid. Konagigate. Nikingit. Talorugate. Talorugmigate. Nikingit. Apai. Umararurugud silakpud alangoratigud. Ilani 8 o'clock. Mamagaki. Angutid. Alaparumiro sa kugurud. Niripke naktud. Kalamik. Makitin. Kukiyaklugid. Ukotiguranga. Kamari ka uba. Sinipengin mi nga kirurunga. Kirsak mga. Kamagiblugo. Irigiki, talonaktu tape ko. Mamaga. Ada. Len ko yaki. Umaga si Ronlo akawaglo. Anangit. Talonaktud. Umakaktu ni. Sunaktu ni. Dam na pekpaginaktok. Pekpaginaktok. Niripkenaktu ni. Kuwesunaktok. Anner naktok. Ilaktuni. Aglan. Niripkeruni. Agiruni. Suna perurok. Isumalum perurok. Maminakmiak. Agiruni. Kuwesuktuni. Kanakmiak. Kulvinakmiak. Aglan tamna. Nakurok. Ilani. Tikin naktok apai. 5 miles tikin naktok. Aglan. Kapsinik tema. Poyugin. Dadiga. Umakaktok akbarurok. Kenyek tikaktugud. Kenyek tikaktugud. Niripke naktonig, nagling naktonig, nagling luni, Dadiga. A cheerful heart, that's the key. Feed the ukotigatigud Bible nakaktigud, nagling naktod, pakalagluid. Kak siak todwok, niripke lugwit. They nated. According it, they nated. Bible of wood. Instruction. Maligar lugu. Nakurok. Poyugin lip. Dadiga. Ublacho minirurok sila kinirarlugo. They miniki. Beachigud. No app. radiate radio silikok silikok ngit good. We didn't have any. Aglan ikirami daddy of la charmi. Kanya sila. Sila kanya karlugo. Davranda kuman oko tisugay. Anguti. My brothers. Uba. Ulungonim. Tiglenga abba. Atosak agnuk. Aglan. Kapsinig ernikak lune. 5. Bobby. Kakenak. Tinguk. Kuniak. Demeniki. Nalo mitinig. Atchinig. Atusuichigud. Ako wakli ubanga. Tikiyami atochimi at kanig. Ilisimarugud. Inupiaq singid. Aturugig put. Akpik dam na pingarok ilangit. Ataramig. Inupiaq pisurugud. Aglan dam na pepira kava. Ulonim tablet tiglenga. Aglan ilisimarugud akvangurud. Dadiga akvangurok. Ilani nirinailanik pisurugud. Aglan tamna angayum ikiyarugatigud. Sunachtuni unni wog niripke nachtuni arisar nachtuni celebrate tarupta angayumik pisurugud nachisurugud. Allangoktok tamna kangunaktok ilani. It's kanakto tape ko pingarod. Uko tigatigud tena iliso tigatigud. Aglan piyok kornakmek suruni. Uba kukirugud it's kanayaktigud sila lotak yatche nirirnaktok. Akbar naktu tena mamaga uqarurok. Nirirurok. Holy Spirit immeruga uqotisuga uvait kaneyarin. Akvaya sirut. It's mamaga tena itok. Akpik lugu lutskuseni. Nirirtok. Tiliganga sumik uqarin. Una it's kaneyarlugu. So manna. Giving a root, umenga. Inuit, giving a root. 6 in the boat, giving a root. Surotun, hexin, nektagut, kavyan, nektagut, angayirugut. Susaga tigut, angayim susaga tigut. Ilangit gok, suna. Inupiaq. Poop kakit, upa atigit, okomain mid. Kavyarugut. Kavyan nektagut. Aglan gadim. Henektichugatigut. Henektichugatigut. Huyanak teku. Tikiak mid iluesa. Umegit. Ikiyogagatigut. Ikiyogagatigut. Tingurak. Piektok. Damna tinguk. Daddy misu. Itok. Sumagunin. Phone na lakiswichok. Inupiaq. Silam ko nagibiglugutin name me. Daddy misun. Daddy, just like our dad. Pingarok. less than 6 months ago. Apai nir kay nga miyak, tinguk. Day na pigati good. Anir naktok piyak, inyum. Piyak man. Inyu sukalak oglan. Damna. Ililigani, tutalugit, ukotini raket. Sigam, pigichok. Cancer luni in his lungs, ukotini raket. Tutaluni, ililigani. Nut karni rakin sigamik nakungichok. Inyu suktuni, damna pigichok. Dain raket. Aglan damna. Kechuk taka. So walk, ikionaka. Ato chimigunin walk. Apaying rocks. Ikionirak tuni. Susap kakalugid. So walk. Aglan suruni. Kavyan nir tuni. Iluwesa. Upalakopta nagurok. Sabak tuni hand in hand. Nabratain na isumablunga. Inipirang ni raguranga. Killigvuk tam na pikpagiya. Ilani alesung naktok. Utok kanad kimatig na lokamitun. Engarunga. Isumablunga surok matin nagurod. Aglan tutalungit. Bibilugit pisurut. Tutalungit. Pikpagibilugit. Nalong mitun. Ukaknirak tut. Ukarurut. Ukalasirut. Aglan. Kuya naifsi. Inupiaq nirakta. Kika, Inupiaq nirakta. Dam na kanngugin nago. Aglan ilisa marugud, gata kaktugud. Kinyakti kaktugud. Ko nagigatigud, Akpik. Teku kalalichiga. Yay, unupkala sirunga. KBRW. Have a nice day.
Good morning, good afternoon. When I was real young, maybe 20 or 21, me and my husband used to go to our camp, Daimani. And then my husband say, cook ducks. He give me 2 ducks. Nalumrunga to take them apart. I cut torakam, put my pot, cut all my ducks. I put all of the ducks inside, even the inside. I don't know. Then father-in-law, Solomon, Abraham, Augustus, they used to go to our camp. Kivgiq tunga kita bra, kukwilgit tunga, sutamik, duck soup, yoy, tibrak milk, ariga, aglan, ook dong ilit kiga, kala lit kiga, time to eat, yoy, isaktut. My father-in-law get soup first. I can't talk them. I make donuts. Yeah, he get soup. Kivgiq. Innalit ka. I go, oh, gee, what I do? I watch Abraham. He gets soup. And I go, honey, did Augustus, he tried. Then my father-in-law get his ducks, the good part, put it in. My husband tried the soup. What the? He said the F word. What the? And I go, what? I put everything the inside, cook them all. Never leave nothing. I put everything, heart, everything inside. I take it apart, put the soup, all my soup, cut them up. Then Isaac say, you try your soup? I go, no, it smells good. And I go, he said, try it. I tried. Oh, I never poison you guys. And my father-in-law say, he show you how to cut ducks? I say, no. I just watched my mom cut few ducks and I thought they was cook all of them. And now one time I let my daughter-in-law, she wanted to make a tiki for my son. I electric for her. How many hours later I come back and I go, Ada, what's wrong with your parky? She been making the hood on, the arms on this side. And I say, how your husband gonna hunt? This way? And she said, I don't know, you never show me. I say, I show you, you never listened. Teku.
Teku Asuna. In order to appreciate what she was talking about, you need to know those three men she was mentioning. Her father-in-law, King Solomon, what we used to call him, Abraham Kawana, and Augustus Kawana. Koyanak. Anyway.
Koyanak. Ublabag nala ni Rome, tanik to waksinak to woko tikami kinipia raksing magnik kovesuk to. Aglano anolit koya ngabulunga atak to up. Ako nakating mailangit. Paano nga tanik, sabi rutilgit ka. Iwa mitlutak, niyok kayo akto-akto nga, siya na. Tam na tanik. Ayaw tila nga, kaibalo ni. Niyok kayo tila nga, siya na, apakaroklo nga, tanik utap to ma. Siya mo koyak to na akpik. Kiwala na si magalawa ma. Uwe, ko'y walo aksi bitaw yun, angak tani. Si mam nigilaw tsak lima. Ipo na kayo niya taduk piyo. Kawi aklo ang Teko nga koyak to en saumik niyo Kivgiq kemyak tun uwaya kura. Asi teka ni Koipkaq tilu anurak iwamin kailak durak tua sona inahlu. Kaya inyo sumatay na koiwa. Atyo ko sibulla mi taga mi koiwalo ni bulu ni pira Elisa dira asi. Agla to tam na atak tok to ilan kolak to ako na kuya mi. Anolit kuya gulo asit sibone Ivit kuya ngami 60s ang malik anak tawing minut kawing man Ivit kuya no sabi ngami Tanda ni pitoa megaloap soma angutit ilangin apakarohluit. Simon anakaya manyamangami. Asi ibunom tinono anakaya kurangat. Asi upitluni anakaya tok agmalik. Asi sibisiromik pichok. Ima 2-3 hours. Kat pama anakayak tungaro. Kaila taro man ayvit kut apakarok tungat. Meme simon anakayak tok tuwadi. Ibon nga mo tinono anakayak kuwalok tapsinga. Salo mawait luni pisoak lungan nung namon anakayak nung. Kuyanak. I hope somebody translates that. Because you're supposed to be in your back.
I won't be able to do the whole thing. You'll have to help me. Anybody else have something? Uh-oh. I bet you're going to tell something about me.
Thank you. Tikirang me in Ungarook 3 years, 1972 to 1975. Imasi nanok simarok nanok simarok pinya poyo kanim niya poyo kanim nanunga maruak asi niya Emma kukiurok igilupta sanakanon innasaka kahlo ti uqalaw di nakayak to kovluta nanok to kovluta asi tamo nga kama maikuva atigilyo kamek saka mutan mik nalwai nga jacket pattern nga nik atohlunga atigilyo ta ulapit yung itpay nga 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D, the bottom part, as in the top part. 2A, 2B, 2C, then nampalavluit pidat ka. Ulapit yung isyong aki. As itema ating nat kap ko kanya iksok kalaudiya, Mikey at tiyong. Ati mau ati nga mataleaksok. Jackie dun inna kiwa pingabay yun ati piatun pingasyo. Te may sumagalo ka masikiga. Uninga kuntaw nga. Si kahlo measuring tape mikisaklo nga. Kanutun ang mga magan may siya kahlo ay makiyak about 4 inches down as in innan munsuli about 10 inches. Triangle leohlunga mutan mi asi ilyak kahlugo asi atiklunga pilyo kapkute nasi pimmiblyo. Asi emat kuno no ba nakayak tok sarak tu nanok emativrak sok isaramnok mai kwati gichangarok ati nga matarmaung akan natap ko matap karamaung ati hlunga pirte amerung numbers and letters tautukate 1A, 1B, 1C uqaluk tut ara ilisare nampaniglo ABC niglo titek tohlugo ati gilyanga. Asi tema kanyak saramarung atiklulera igilaktut. Uvagok ilanga galuaria atigi aglan. Atiklunga gurva tena ilanga mambigia. Uvagok ilichinyarmeok tena okaktut. Igilaktiluta soa imnya atsaga iserlone. Uqalaktok. Ara mission miksiak kahlo ni gurva takseriak tuak andawani gilo kaming ni gilo Kaming iyok pekpagigate, shoni yoko vatao tuguro kimik paligarak doktonik. Te nago kimik paligarak kahlone stakek pakahlone kimik paligarni atigigate. Uki oromi kiway magiak December me. Isiraman ara piliang tikip karak tuguro va. Tavrago in the pisuarman stak tarak pailotik kimik paligarang tikip karak tok iglomon. Mission minyasi kimik paligarang pakitchakah lune atohluwik nariyak tok simarwak nanomik nariyapta. Ara alea sungit churugut. Kisay maimnya ilichivik kangak sila sivik tikirami kanok okarotilangin. Ang lalim bataw simi Inuit apihirapkit uvana suna amay. Inuit tavar apihirapkit sunava amay. I don't know. They know it. Imakiak Irene okakatikikah lugutin naligin man I don't know Alice Weber ulak luguin na kaya. Inuit never appear pa yukapki sunava amay in narawan nga. I don't know. Alice ilak pakahlo na yukalaudirani. Amay means I don't know. Ipalook tigo da so Alice lo. Anyway, itkaktit pagtani ba Caroline ng maukaman. Kanok inyo nga tilang ngapta tikirami. Take you.
Thank you, Pat. I have one thing. Because we lived in Point Hope that in those days, there's a, I don't know if it's a tradition or what it is, but women over there I noticed, well, let's go back a little bit. We didn't have many means of transportation in those days when we lived there. No three-wheelers, four-wheelers hadn't been invented. We walked. We walked most of the time. And because it's windy, women usually walk behind. I noticed that, and well, okay, we can do that. I don't mind. It's strange. Usually we walk like this, but there we'd walk like this. Got to Point Hope, or we left Point Hope to go to Fairbanks for some reason. We're walking down 2nd Avenue. Hey, we're not in Kivgiq anymore. We can walk side by side.
It was because of the wind.
It was the reason you have. Yeah, we break the wind. No, the men are windbreakers, I guess, but I just couldn't get over that in Fairbanks. Anyway, anybody else? Looks like Joe is coming up again today. Akpik, buddy from Ipalook.
Kuya Mike, pakalakka luga, wanga kingaktak. Akpik ko ya urunga. Akpik ko ya ko abang kuwa gawin kaya ngarot. Alright, kingunit kali. Ilismanera haloy pisuit ka. Kamara kingunit but ilismanera haloy. Ichokonera haloy. Pinuhura root. Vote ke you alla root yuni. Kamara Kerala's koyanak paraya Inupiaq. Inupiaq lutinara harid over he. Nakuro koyanak tok. Wangan ito Inupiaq tok. Kaligutinara ko miyo samba. Yan niyo skuluk tero miyo mamnya. Pidyo talak piyo. Tayo talak piyo. Abdul over he. Sura. Abdul over he. Kaya na ikaw ko. Ribut in the Simic na 5 yuta. Kuya naktok. Katit kumiyak yuta. Inupiaq katiwot. Ari ipakirapak kita mara. Isali kamari Inupiaq katit kamara anak tuwa winyo mara. Kaya kami, yay, Caroline na. Isu man Lord ang ikala ko Morse kaya ko yaki. Kaya kami at kaib mata. Kaya na. Kita berahe ukak pai tungnak tungawa. Kaya ayaw ba, piun.
Kuyanak. Anyone else have something to entertain us with? No? Betsy? You taking over? Well, if we're not going to tell any more stories, I guess we'll have to eat lunch. Should be getting ready pretty soon, isn't it? Last call. Okay, well, koyanak everyone, teko asuna. Been entertaining, enjoyed it.
Yes, I love story time. You never know what you're going to hear. I love hanging out with our mayor. We get business done, but I love listening to stories from Mr. Mayor too. We appreciate everyone that shared. We'll be back starting with our opening remarks at 1 p.m. In the cafeteria down the hall, North Slope Borough Admin and Finance Department, our A&F department, they're in the lunchroom. They've got lunch plated up. I would wonder if they're already serving folks, but they're ready to serve lunch down there in the lunchroom side. So we'll see you guys back here 1 o'clock on the schedule. Thank you.